Okay, so it's 7 o'clock. So let's set our motivation for doing the practice, the reading and the recitation of the prayers before the teachings. Of course, benefit so that Geshe, Gelek and Geshe Sampo will have long, healthy, happy lives and be free of obstacles, and will have every happiness, joy in teaching us, pure and complete teachings of Lama Tsongkhapa. We can rejoice that on this one of the days of Sakadao that we're able to do this practice on merit multiplying days. Of course, for everyone on the prayer list, world peace, to eradicate the coronavirus and all its strains, mutations everywhere in the world, especially in India, Nepal, and South America. Sentient beings may have every happiness and every joy, be free of every problem, complication, pain, suffering, disease, injuries. They have physical and mental pliancy. May their lives be full of harmony, mutual understanding, compassion, great compassion, bodhicitta. May they realize emptiness in and out of meditative equipoise. May they liberate themselves from samsara for good in this very lifetime. And when they pass away from this life, may they be born in a lotus, in a Buddha field where the Buddha is teaching the holy Dharma. And may they understand without resistance, remember without resistance, and realize resistance, all those teachings. And may they remain in the Pure Land until they attain their own Buddhahood. Now I'd like to share the screen so we can recite the prayers together. Guru, teacher, Bhagavan, Tathagata Arhat, perfectly complete Buddha, perfect knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of beings to be subdued, teacher of gods and humans, to you, Buddha Bhagavan, glorious conquer Shakyamuni, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. Guru, teacher, Bhagavan, Tathagata Arhat, perfectly complete Buddha, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of beings to be subdued, teacher of gods and humans, to you, Buddha Bhagavan, glorious conquer Shakyamuni, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. Guru, teacher, Bhagavan, Tathagata Arhat, perfectly complete Buddha, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of beings to be subdued, teacher of gods and humans, to you, Buddha Bhagavan, glorious conquer Shakyamuni, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When supreme amongst humans you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides and said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise then, I prostrate. With pure bodies formed supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, savior to you, I prostrate. With the supreme signs, face like spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Just free like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the teacher having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you the one gone to thusness, I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated and who also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you, the sublime community, intending virtue, I prostrate. Do not commit any unwholesome actions. Engage in perfect, wholesome actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a defective view, a butter lamp flame, an illusion, a dewdrop, a water bubble, a dream, lightning, a cloud. See all causative phenomena like this. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the foul faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. So I'm going to skip to the lion face the king. From the holy supreme realm of Kechara, you who possess powers of clairvoyance and magical emanation, look after practitioners without distraction as you would a child. To the host of dakinis of the three abodes, I prostrate. Akasama Racha Shadara Samarayape, Akasama Racha Shadara Samarayape, Akasama Racha Shadara Samarayape, Akasama Racha Shadara Samarayape, Teata Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhi Soha. By the teachings of the noble three rare sublime ones possessing the power of truth, may hindrances be averted, may they be eliminated, may they be pacified. May all enemies and negative forces opposed to Dharma be completely pacified. Shantim Kuru Soha. May the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified. May we be free from harmful conditions to Dharma. May all excellences be in accord with the Dharma, and may there be auspicious and perfect happiness here, right now. From the heart of the Savior of the 100 deities of Tushita, on the peak of a cloud resembling a clump of extremely white, fresh curd, King of Dharma, Lisha no Samdrapa, please come here together with your sons. In the sky before me, on a lion throne, lotus and moon, my perfect, pure Guru smiles with delight. Supreme field of merit for my mind of faith, please abide for 100 eons to spread the teachings. Your holy mind has the intelligence that understands the full extent of objects to be known. Your holy speech with its excellent explanations is an ear ornament for those of good fortune. Your holy body is radiantly beautiful with glory renowned. To you who are meaningful to see, hear, and remember, I prostrate. Pleasing drinking water, various flowers, fragrant incenses, light-scented waters, and so forth. Oceans of cloud-like offerings, both actually arranged and mentally emanated. I offer to you the supreme field of merit, whatever non-virtue of body, speech, and mind, especially those opposite to the three vows that I have collected from beginningless time, I confess each and every one with fervent regret. From my heart, you strove for much learning and practice in this degenerate age, and made your freedoms and riches meaningful. By abandoning the 8 worldly concerns, Savior, we sincerely rejoice in your extensive deeds. Perfect, pure, holy gurus from the billing clouds of wisdom and compassion in the sky of Dharmakaya, please let fall a rain of profound extensive Dharma upon the receptacle of those to be subdued exactly as they need. May the Vajra body of Tsongkhapa, created from the purity of clear light, free of the rising and setting of cyclic existence, be visible to the ordinary viewer, all in its unsubtle physical form, stay on unchanging without waning until samsara ends. May whatever virtue I have collected benefit the teachings and all transmigrador beings, and in particular may it cause the essence of perfect pure Losandrapa's teachings to shine forever. Vajradhara, Lord of Sages, source of all realizations. Avalokiteshvara, a good treasure of non-objectifying compassion. Manjushri, master of stainless wisdom. Lord of secrets, destroyer of the entire host of Mars. Losandrapa, crown ornament of the sages of the land of snow. To you, Guru Buddha, embodying the 3 refuges, I make requests respectively with my 3 doors. Please bless me and others to be ripened and liberated. Please bestow the supreme and common realizations. Vajradhara, Lord of Sages, source of all realizations. Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-objectifying compassion. Manjushri, master of stainless wisdom. Lord of secrets, destroyer of the entire host of Mars. Losandrapa, crown ornament of the sages of the land of snow. To you, Guru Buddha, embodying the 3 refuges, I make requests respectfully with my 3 doors. Please bless me and others to be ripened and liberated. Please bestow the supreme and common realizations. Vajradhara, Lord of Sages, source of all realizations, Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-objectifying compassion, Manjushri, master of stainless wisdom, Lord of secrets, destroy the entire host of Mars, Losangdrapa, crown ornament of the sages of the land of snow, to you, Guru Buddha, embodying the 3 refuges, I make requests respectfully with my 3 doors. Please bless me and others to be ripened and liberated. Please bestow the supreme and common realizations. Magnificent and precious root Guru, please abide on the lotus seat at my heart. Guide me with your great kindness and grant me the realizations of your holy body, speech, and mind. Magnificent and precious root Guru, please abide on the lotus seat at my heart. Guide me with your great kindness and grant me the supreme and common realizations. Magnificent and precious root Guru, please abide on the lotus seat at my heart. Guide me with your great kindness and remain steadfast until I attain the essence of enlightenment. By the force of the victorious one, Lama Tsongkhapa, acting as our direct Mahayana virtuous friend in all our lives, may we never turn aside even for a second from the pure path highly admired by the victorious ones. Shinkamu Wagiwo, Om Benza Bumi Ahum, Manchan Segi Sashi, Om Benza Reke Ahum, Shi Chagri Koyugi Korwayusu, Riga Podirab Shalupapo Lo Zambulin Nu Balangche Jana Mingyang Nu Dan Nu Pang Yaya Dan Yaya Jen Yoden Dan No Jojo Daminyan Dan Daminyan Gida Rinpoche Rido Pasam Gishin Dirjo Iba Mamu Pilotog Kolo Rinpoche, Nobu Rinpoche, Tsumo Rinpoche, Lempo Rinpoche, Langpo Rinpoche, Takcho Rinpoche, Magpo Rinpoche, Techempo Ibumpa, Gemma, Tewama, Luma, Garma, Metoma, Duperma, Nelselma, Dichama, Nima, Dawa, Rinpoche, Du, Cholena, Pagewe, Gyatsen, Wisulag Dami, Pesha Pusun, Sopa, Matsawa, Mepa, Sangshi, Dingwa, Jinchen, Jinsen, Sawa, Dan, Kirpa, Chepe, Pandela, Mada, Panandam. Keparadu yang Geshe Gelek Chodo Pelsan Persian Lane Tepa Champerson Cheja Mole Paju Wayandu Shinkamu Wagiwo Tuje do Wedun Duje Suso Jene Kyanda Sodo Wama Gyuna Keta Tanam Pesan Tentantela Tutsa Wachem Pogo Nejingi Love to So. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this is the Buddha field and offer it. May all living beings enjoy this pure land. O holy and perfect pure Lama, from the clouds of compassion that form in the skies of your Dharmakaya wisdom, please release a rain of vast and profound Dharma, precisely in accordance with the needs of those to be trained. Idam Guru Ratamandalakam Niryatayami. Sangye Chedam Soki Chonam La Janchu Badu Dani Kapsuchi Dagi Chunyangi Pesunam Gi Dola Pencho Sangye Tupa Shok Sangye Chedam Soki Chonam La Janchu Badu Dani Kapsuchi Dagi Chunyangi Pesunam Gi Dola Pencho Sangye Tupa Shok Sangye Chedam Soki Chonam La Janchu Badu Dani Kapsuchi Dagi Chunyangi Pesunam Gi Dola Penchu Sangye Tu Parsho. Okay, now so to continue the reading. So if you're in the hard copy book, we're on page 54, the bottom of the page. The third unique feature. It is adorned with the instructions of the 2 gurus skilled in the tradition of the 2 great trailblazers. Therefore, it is superior to other traditions. Regarding this point, it is adorned with the oral instructions of Serlingpa, who was the guru skilled in the tradition of the great trailblazer, Asanga, with his presentation of the 7-fold cause and effect and equalizing self with others for training the mind in bodhicitta. Therefore, it has a unique feature that surpasses the Hinayana and so forth. It is adorned with the oral instructions of Vidya Kokila, the younger, who was the guru skilled in the tradition of the great trailblazer, Nagarjuna, whose instructions unmistakably and non-deceptively explain how things are merely imputed through corresponding names, signs, and reasons established through logical proofs, with the view of prasangika as the supreme pinnacle of philosophical tenets. Therefore, it has a unique feature that surpasses other traditions such as the Svatantrika and so on. If you don't understand the Lamrim, you will not know how to do anything besides meditate on some deity and count some mantras. Sometimes we don't think anything other than I am Vajra Bhairava or I am Chakra We pretend we are counting the Yamaraja mantra and so forth. Sometimes we merely think that we are different from others and we have wings like Vajra Humkara, great and glorious Purpa, Shemchog Heruka, and so on. The previous Kadampa said, quote, everyone has a deity body to meditate on. Everyone has a mantra to count, yet no one has a dharma to contemplate, unquote. Accordingly, if you don't understand these stages of the path to enlightenment as an object of contemplation, you may stay in your meditation house, yet do nothing more than paint, count something similar to a mantra, engage in sewing, spin thread, and so on. The Four Greatnesses has 4 sections. 1, the greatness that you will come to realize that all the teachings are not contradictory. 2, the greatness of all the scriptures appearing as personal instructions. 3, the greatness of easily discovering the ultimate intention of the conqueror. And 4, the greatness of stopping the great misdeeds. The greatness that you will come to realize that all the teachings are not contradictory. The first greatness is that you will come to realize that all the teachings are not contradictory. The Lamrim of Tsongkhapa also contains a vast amount of oral instructions of Jetsun Manjushri that don't exist in the lamp for the path. Before Atisha arrived in Tibet, people did not understand the stages of the path. In Migrating beings thought that Sutra and Tantra were as contradictory as hot and cold and were incapable of understanding that they were in fact non-contradictory. The term non-contradictory means they are mutually inclusive. Whatever the Buddha taught was taught as a means for a single person to become enlightened. Moreover, with the exception of a few of the unique teachings, such as striving for the bliss of liberation for the Hinayana, they should all be practiced by a bodhisattva. The common Mahayana practices and the uncommon practices of secret mantra should all be practiced only by bodhisattvas. The paths of the beings of small and middling capacity are for the collection of teachings of the Hinayana. To generate bodhicitta, initially a mind of renunciation that is detached from samsara is indispensable. In general, the primary object of desire for a bodhisattva is to work for the welfare of living beings. For that, they must extend their care to the 3 types of trainees. For that, they must understand the various types of realizations of the 3 vehicles. Therefore, they must master their understanding of all the paths of Shravakas, Pratyeka Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas. Apart from the mind striving for the bliss of nirvana for oneself alone, which is unique to Hinayana, all the other teachings from the Hinayana basket are common with the Mahayana, and you should meditate on them all. This includes meditating on the 16 aspects of the 4 noble truths, such as impermanence and so forth, as well as the 12 limbs of dependent relationship. Relying on the path in this way, you should realize not only that all the teachings are non-contradictory, that all the teachings are non-contradictory in accordance with their result as well. The Buddha has eliminated all faults and is endowed with all good qualities. Moreover, there is not even the slightest fault in the conqueror's teachings. There is not a single good quality that you are not capable of developing. Therefore, you should practice them all out of desire to attain enlightenment. Some people think that other than renunciation, bodhicitta, the 4 noble truths, and so on, presented in the sutras, they don't need to practice secret mantra. However, this is not the case. The reason bodhicitta is included within whatever meditations there are, such as the generation and completion stages of secret mantra, is that bodhicitta is a solitary cause of proceeding to the Mahayana. The mantra vows in other verses state, I shall generate the sacred unsurpassed bodhicitta. And the Vajra Peak Tantra proclaims, do not forsake bodhicitta, even for the sake of your life. If you assert that you don't need bodhicitta in the practice of mantra, then you incur 2 faults. 1, there is a bodhisattva who has not generated bodhicitta, and 2, there is a Buddha of the mantra vehicle who belongs to the Hinayana. The fact that all the Buddhas first generated bodhicitta is also explained in the Sutra of the Fortunate Aeon, which proclaims, first generate the mind of enlightenment. There are also many other teachings that contradict that mistaken thesis. For that reason, when you come to an understanding that everything that was taught by the Bhagavan was intended solely for a person's practice of enlightenment, all the scriptures were coalesced into the stages of the path. Your faith will also greatly increase. There are also many ways of explaining the colloquial expression, carrying all the teachings of a four-sided path. My guru explained it by stating, just like carrying the entirety of a square sitting mat, all the teachings should be carried by a single practice for enlightenment. If we understand this point for the stages of the path, we shall know how to carry them, that is, put them into practice. Vasubandhu's Treasury of Abhidharma states, the two aspects of the teacher's holy Dharma are the nature of scripture and realization. The definitive number of the Munis, that is, the historical Buddha Shakyamuni's teachings, is two, scripture and realization. Therefore, Acharya Avalokitavrata stated, the transmitted scriptures of the Buddha reveal the unmistaken teachings on the Four Noble Truths for those wishing for liberation. Accordingly, the valid scriptural tradition is to be understood as a means of assisting a single individual in his or her progression to enlightenment, and one must realize that every type of abandonment and realization contained in the subject matter of Hinayana and Mahayana and all the teachings of scripture and realizations are non-contradictory as complementary factors for a single person's enlightenment. This view prevents speculation that is in opposition to that, as well as the view of whether it exists or doesn't exist, and so on. There is no need to realize that all philosophical views are non-contradictory, such as those designated Dzogchen, Mahamudra, and so on, as well as the Dharma traditions of the Bon. The phrase, all the teachings are understood to be non-contradictory, is not intended to mean that you must realize that all the philosophical views are non-contradictory. In short, although at first glance, the language of some of the teachings from Sutra and Tantra appears to be as contradictory as hot and cold, in fact, they teach the means of eliminating all thoughts. Therefore, they are necessarily non-contradictory according to a single individual at various times of their practice. For example, although it may appear contradictory when a doctor tells a sick person to both eat meat and not eat meat, and even though this may apply to the same individual, it is in fact necessary for the sick person to apply both instructions at various times during his illness. The greatness of all the scriptures appearing as personal instructions. The king, or in other words, supreme oral instructions, are the precious spoken words of the Kongyur, as well as the commentarial collection, Tengyur, such as the works of the 6 ornaments, the 2 supreme beings, and so on. There is no oral instruction superior to these. Moreover, in this world, the oral instructions taught by Guru do not surpass those of the Buddha Bhagavan. The oral instructions also do not surpass the precious spoken words of the conqueror. The regent Maitreya states in his ornament of the Mahayana Sutras, quote, there is no one in this world who is wiser than the conqueror. No one else perfectly understands in every way all there is to know about supreme suchness. Therefore, do not wreak havoc with the sutras set down by the sage himself. By causing harm to the holy Dharma, you will also destroy the system of the Muni, unquote. We regard the Kongyur and so on nothing more than objects of worship and don't understand that they could be meant for far more than ritual recitation. This is the fault of not developing an understanding of the stages of the path. Although the Bon teacher Shenrab and others claim that they are related to the teacher, there is no evidence of this whatsoever. Although some claim that Dharmakaya, Samantabhadra, Vajradhara, and so on are superior to our teacher, such a thing is simply not possible. Once the teacher attained the ultimate state of fearlessness, he became enlightened. If there was a Buddha superior to that, this would mean that Buddha Shakyamuni would not be enlightened, and therefore that instead of becoming better, he got worse. If you understand the Lamrim, whenever you assess the scriptures, you will immediately be able to identify them with one of the 3 types of beings of the Lamrim. For example, if you have a small quantity of barley in a container, and you get a little more from somewhere else, you will be able to add it to that. Previously, when the Supreme Siddha Drobtu Losang Namgyal was giving the oral transmission of the perfection of wisdom in 8,000 lines, Chichen Ngawan Chogden, the tutor of Gyalwa Kelsang Gyatso, the 7th Dalai Lama, said, When I listened to the commentary to the Lamrim in the presence of Jamyang Shepa Ngawan Zondru, I realized that when I undertook my previous philosophical studies, I was in fact undertaking a study of the Lamrim. Thus, all the great scriptures are the Lamrim. However, not recognizing them as the Lamrim stems from the fault of not developing an understanding of the Lamrim. For example, when dancers train in dancing, they should train in whatever dance they are learning. Likewise, you should study and contemplate whatever you are meditating on. You should meditate on whatever study and contemplation you undertake. J. Rinpoche Tsongkhapa also proclaimed, just as it would be a source of laughter to show a horse track to a horse and then have the race somewhere else, how can it be acceptable to learn and contemplate something and then settle upon something else for your practice? This is stating that it would be inappropriate to study and contemplate one thing and then meditate on something else, and is the same as studying and contemplating the 5 treatises and then settling upon something else as your object of meditation. If you develop an understanding of the stages of the path, it is utterly impossible that you will not learn how to apply everything you come across to your practice, all the way from the spoken words of the conqueror to a discarded page in a tsatsa house. Some people assert that it is sufficient to practice some separate, insignificant oral instruction, such as a small manual, and think that the spoken word of the Buddha is only for performing ritual recitations for hire. Yet if we behave in this way, we will have very little faith in the scriptures and will regard the Kangyur and Tengyur as something not intended for practice, whereby we will accumulate the extremely grave karma of abandoning the Dharma. Those people will have created obstructions to developing faith in the stainless scriptures and their commentaries. For that reason, you should sincerely apply yourself to the stage of the path to enlightenment as a means of developing an understanding and faith in the great scriptures as well. Tsongkhapa the Great stated, the fault of abandoning the Dharma, despite much study, is due to the scriptures not appearing as instructions. Previously, a scholar from Sera Monastery visited a great Nyingma meditator from Kham and requested separate teachings to put into practice. This is the fault of not understanding the Lamrim, and is due to not implementing the 2 distinguishing features of realizing that 1, all the teachings are non-contradictory, and 2, all the scriptures appear as personal instructions. For example, a Tanka paper arranges all goods necessary for Tanka painting, such as his paint pot for painting the deity, his white, yellow, red, and green paints, his paintbrush, and so on, and doesn't leave even one thing out. This is analogous to realizing that all the teachings are non-contradictory. Likewise, understanding nothing more than the fact that the conqueror's scriptures and their commentaries are intended for a single individual to put into practice means that you will not discard even a single letter. Thus, not only does the Tanka painter understand that the paints and so forth are indispensable for painting the deity, but he understands how to paint the deity image with a complete set of features, which is analogous to the scriptures appearing as oral instructions. Not only will you understand that all the scriptures and the commentaries are completely necessary for a single individual's enlightenment, but you will see that they are non-contradictory and intended to be put into practice, which is the meaning of knowing how to put them into practice. The greatness of easily discovering the ultimate intention of the conqueror. Finishing a Tanka painting is analogous to the 3rd greatness of easily discovering the ultimate intention of the conqueror, which means discovering a jewel-like ultimate intention of the conqueror through practice. In general, the 3 principal aspects of the path possesses the ultimate intention of the conqueror, which is within the ocean-like scriptures of the conqueror. If you rely upon the boat-like stages of the path to enlightenment and a skillful captain-like guru, you will easily be able to discover the underlying intent of the conqueror. The 3 principal aspects of the path is the underlying intent of the conqueror. Also, the words of the 3 principal aspects of the path from J. Rinpoche Tsongkhapa state, quote, for as long as you accept the relationship between the non-deceptive dependent rising of appearances and emptiness as being separate, you still have not realized the true intent of the Muni, unquote. This verse is in reference to the correct view of emptiness, and this is the essential meaning of all the conqueror's scriptures. This also reveals the conqueror's underlying intent about enunciation. Regarding bodhicitta, this is the absolute greatest underlying intent of the conqueror. The greatness of stopping the great misdeed. If you give rise to all 3 of the previous greatnesses of the Lamrim, you will automatically stop the great misdeeds of abandoning the Dharma and so forth. This teaching refers to the smallest misdeed of abandoning the Dharma, such as merely abandoning its symbolism. In accordance with the hidden meaning of that, To the stages of the path endowed with three greatnesses, you will stop the misdeed in your way of relating to the spiritual guide, such as not having faith in your spiritual guide, and so on. It stops the misdeed of wasting your life with what is meaningless and mistaking what is meaningful, to the great meaning and great difficulty of finding this leisure and endowment, and it stops the misdeed that comes from grasping permanence to the point of the view of death and impermanence, and so on. Thus, you also need to apply the same thing to the remaining points. As you undertake listening to and contemplating the words proclaimed with these four greatnesses, you should combine the subject matter of the four greatnesses with your mental continuum. This ends day 3.
Geshe Gelek is here.
Please have a seat. Oh, there's good evening, Thomasy. Good evening, Karen. Good evening, Susie. Good evening, Mary. Good evening, Jill. What is inside?
This is Ted the guinea pig.
Huh?
It's a little guinea pig named Ted.
Guinea pig, huh?
Yeah, listening to you.
Good evening, Julia. Good evening, David. Good evening, Venerable Hamu. Good evening, Panditji, Pati. Good evening, Ryan.
Good evening.
Good evening, Tom. Thank you very much, Tom. So, this art looks beautiful, very beautiful. So, at your convenience, you can bring anytime at your convenience.
Joanna is going to be in Raleigh on, I think, Wednesday, and she's going to drop it off.
Okay, Tom, thank you very much. Good evening, Govina. Good evening, Lee. This is someone we have been thinking about your health all the time. Oh yeah, so today, how much page you read today?
Almost 9 pages. We finished day 3.
Oh, that's good. Maybe I need to get the book. Any question there?
I've just received one question.
Oh,
So the question quotes from the book. It says, the common Mahayana practices and the uncommon practices of secret mantra should all be practiced only by bodhisattvas. This is,
oh. Ninja, hello. How are you? Amanda. Ninja.
To there you go. Pop by and see everybody.
Ninja.
Hi.
How are you feeling?
Brenda.
How are you feeling? I'm doing pretty good today.
Okay, good to see you, Ninja.
Yeah, it's good to see you too. It's nice to see everybody.
Yeah. Good evening, Mark. Today, question is, Thomas.
oh yeah, so the question quoted the common Mahayana practices and the uncommon practices of secret mantra should all be practiced only by bodhisattvas. This was near the end of the first paragraph, right after the heading, the greatness that you will come to realize that all the teachings are not contradictory. So the question is, if secret mantra should be practiced only by bodhisattvas, we are not yet bodhisattvas, but we are allowed to take initiation. So how is this?
Yeah, first we learn, then contemplate, then put into practice, like integrations. So, of course, integrations, without 3 principles except the path. I mentioned I said it many times, like secret mantra or Vajrayana teaching or secret mantra or Tantra require foundations. Without foundations, so then like putting into practice secret mantra, it's not about learning, it's about learning. Once you initiate, you can learn, you can contemplate, you can like actually putting like Vajrayana teaching into practice does require foundations, which are like renunciations of bodhicitta. Once you have bodhicitta, so then you are called bodhisattva. So there's like 2 types of bodhicitta: wishing bodhicitta, then engaging bodhicitta. So yeah, so what it means like that we are not going to succeed practicing Vajrayana without foundations. We are not going to succeed. That's what it means. It doesn't mean we cannot learn. Of course, in order to put into practice, first we need to learn, then you need to contemplate. So then integrations. So then in order to integrate in our day-to-day life, so then either you have to have strong, like how is the heart-moving experience of bodhicitta than actual bodhicitta, not actual bodhicitta. So then when you think about bodhicitta, so then you're like very much moved from deep down from your heart or something like that. And without that, then, also, when you take initiations, bodhisattva vow is part of the initiation. Now you see why. There's a reason. Without bodhisattva vow. So in order to take bodhisattva vow, you don't have to be Sangha member. You can be lay person. You can still achieve. You can still receive bodhisattva vow, Tantra vow, and Pratimoksha vows. So you don't have to be Sangha member. But having a like Pratimoksha vow, so such as the novice vow, fully as bhikshus vows, bhikshunis vows, that does help. That does help. Ordinations does help to speed the process. Ordination does help. So Pratimoksha vows, it does not refer to only ordinations. So Pratimoksha vows. There's like last three of them dedicated to lay people. It's a lifelong commitment dedicated for the lay people. Not all of them lifelong, but some of them last 24 hours. So then two of them is like lifelong lay vows. Lay vows, commitments is part of the Pratimoksha vows. Okay. So in order to practice first true classic of Tantra, you don't need Tantra vow, Tantric vows. So the Yoga Tantra, some part of the Yoga Tantra does require Tantric vows. Then about highest Yoga Tantra, you have to have Tantric vows. You have to receive Tantric vows. So the trouble of Pratimoksha vows, Bodhisattva vows, the trouble with that. So then you need Tantra vows. Tantra vows. Kriya Tantra, Charya Tantra, some part of the Yoga Tantra does not require you to take Tantric vows. So then highest Yoga Tantra, you need to take Tantra vows. Without that, so then, you can't practice highest Yoga Tantra. So that's what it means. Okay, actually put into practice, not just study, learn, contemplate. No, put into practice. Yeah, the best case bodhicitta. If not, whenever you meditate on bodhicitta, so that you have to have like some strong experience or feeling when you meditate on bodhicitta. If that's hard, so then at least understanding of what is three principal aspect, what is renunciation, what is bodhicitta, what is wisdom, realize emptiness. It needs at least requires some understanding of three principal aspects of the path. Without that, as I said, blind person riding on one of the most powerful horse, but you have no idea where you're going, where you can't see. But the very horse that you are riding is the most powerful horse that you are riding, but you don't know where you are going, you can't see anything. So then, that means you have zero idea what is renunciation, what is bodhicitta, what is wisdom, realizing emptiness. That indicate that you are like blind, can see, and what it is required to practice Tantra, what is the foundation, you have no idea. So then, it's like riding a powerful horse without visions. Okay? Vision. And then what else? For me, it's very important to explain you exactly what is the truth. So I'm not going to say, oh, you can practice Tantra without bodhicitta. That's a lie. If you do that, it's not going to lead you anywhere. Temporarily, it makes you probably happy, but if you have a strong wish to practice Tantra, you need to understand what are the foundations. It's not something that you can learn. It's not like there's something you cannot learn. No, there's something you can learn, or something you can contemplate. Once you learn, that all this teaching is. There's teaching of knowledge. There's something you can learn, and you can contemplate, and you can meditate on, and you can. It's all about gaining something. Gaining something is not so you can learn. If I can learn, you can learn. But they're not physically, mentally. We are same. I have two eyes. You have two eyes. No difference. So any knowledge that you have so far, there's a result of your effort. Any knowledge that I have is a result of my effort. Any practice that you know is a result of your effort. So we can learn. We are equally capable to learn, to get enlightened, to learn every teaching that exists. We can learn. Okay, then what else?
I don't see any other questions in the chat or on YouTube, Geshe.
That's good news. So then time to do dedication. You understood everything. That's good news. Or maybe Venerable Hamula will read more pages, so then I will listen. So if there's anything's not clear, so I may need to grab my books. So we'll see. So Venerable Hamu, that's what we should do. Maybe read. If there's if everything's clear, so then.
Okay, Geshe, there's a question now.
Okay, all right.
The question is, what are the 16 aspects of the Four Noble Truths? Let me see if.
So the noble truth of suffering is like it has four characteristics. One is impermanent. One is suffering itself. One is like the absence of Jesus, like there are like ancient time. There are like theory or belief that self is permanent. There are ancient time. There are beliefs that eternal or permanent, whatever you call self. That's according to Buddhism. That's kind of like a wrong view. Then like independent. One of them, eternal or permanent, independent. And not like Ramawa is like not dependent on any part, at all, and not dependent on causality, cause and conditions. So absence of that. There's a third one, absence of that. So then the fourth one is selflessness. So these are the four characteristics of the truth of suffering. So then similar, the second noble truth, the origin of suffering. So So then it has 4 characteristics. So unfortunately, I don't know how to say in English. I do know how to say in Tibetan, probably that's probably not going to help you, but I don't have any way to translate that into English because my English is now 53 years old. It's not improving much, slowly, but I don't know how to say. So then the path that leads to the cessation has 4 characteristics. The cessation itself has 4 characteristics. So that becomes 16. 4 times 4. Yeah, that's what's called 16. What is the question?
No, you've answered the question as well as, without having the English, what are the 16 aspects? So yes, 4 times 4 is 16. So
So that the 4 characteristics that has associated with the origin of suffering is called Ju, Kunjung, Chien, Rabje. Doesn't mean anything because you don't understand Tibetan. Oh. Then third one, Lamrim, Druba, Ninju, that's associated with the path. Goba, Shiva, Chanam, Ninju, that's associated with the cessations. So, Ju, the 4 that is 4 characteristics that is associated with the origin of suffering. First one is called cause, Ju. Kunjung, Ju, Kunjung. Kunjung means, if you literally translate with my broken English, it sounds like origin of everything, Kunjung. Jin, third one's conditions. Rabje is something that has increase. Then let me say, Lam, 4 that is associated with the path that lead to the cessation. Third noble truth. First characteristic is the path. Second one is called knowing, or Rikpa. Yeah, knower or knowing. The third one is called practice. Then the fourth one is called renunciations, something like that. So the Goba, the 4 characteristics, they're related to the cessation. The first one is called cessations, Goba Shiva. And second one is called pacify, Chanam. Excellent. Third one, Goba Shiva Chanam. Lamrim, Goba Shiva Chanam. Goba Shiva. Lamrim. Yeah. Then the fourth one is in Sarah Monastery. It'll take 1 week to come here. It's temporarily gone from my library, so it's somewhere there. So need to look. Okay, these are the 16 characteristics of 4 Noble Truths. When Buddha Shakyamuni taught 4 Noble Truths in Varanasi, after 49th day after enlightenment, so Shakyamuni Buddha taught 4 Noble Truths, combined with the 16 characteristics. That's how the 4 Noble Truth was taught. Some of the characteristics some of the explanation of some of the characteristic is based on the entity of 4 Noble Truth itself. Then some of the characteristic explanation of some of the characteristics based on activity of the 4 Noble Truth. Then some of them is explanation based on the result. So that's how this now like the 16th characteristic, the Fourth Noble Truth was taught combined with the 16th characteristics based on 3 points: entity, activities, result. So that's how the Fourth Noble Truth has been taught. Extensively, that's how the Fourth Noble Truth has been taught. Okay, just to give you an idea. And then what else? Thank you for opening up my library. It's all dusty now. It's all dusty. So you are helping me to open that page by page. Thank you very much for your kindness.
Okay, I don't see any more questions, Geshe. Let me check YouTube really quick. No, no questions.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so now then, Alhamdulillah, police, if there's no question, if there's question comes up, then we can stop. Otherwise, Venerable Alhamdulillah, please can you read a few more pages?
Day 4. Dontompa, the king of Dharma, proclaimed.
Domtompa here, Domtompa is the main lay person, main disciple of Lama Atisha, Domtompa. One of the important Kadamba masters. So they say there's a Kadamba tradition, there's old traditions, there's new traditions, old traditions refers to from Lama Atisha to Domtompa all the way to Lama Tsongkhapa. Then from Lama Tsongkhapa, then they're called new Kadamba traditions for the sake of knowledge. All Kadamba traditions from Lama Atisha to all the way to the Lama Atisha passed down to Domtompa. Then there's many Kadamba Geshe, Langritaba, Geshe Chagawa, Geshe Chengawa. There's many of them. So there's many generations. So then till Lama Tsongkhapa, so from Lama Tsongkhapa, so then all the Kadamba tradition was called new Kadamba traditions. So it's not it's founded by Lama Tsongkhapa for the sake of knowledge. So Domtompa is the part of the old Kadamba traditions. The main disciple of Lama Atisha is not ordained, it's a layperson. And then, yeah.
The wondrous teachings are the 3 baskets, which are beautified by the instruction of the 3 groups of being. This
Mantra, I think like this word kind of like confusing. So a lot of people, they think mantra is like something that you recite. I think in order to eliminate the confusion, probably, even though it's synonym, I think it's good to say Vajrayana path. Then it's clear. Tantra yana, you don't get confused. But mantra yana, there's a word in Tibetan, even Tibetan, but when you hear the word Tibetan, you don't think of a mantra that you recite. You immediately think about some kind of practice, Sangha, So here, when the mantra yana, so the people may think, oh, there's something that you recite, then they are not getting the meaning of the word. So probably, for your own sake, for better, when you teach in the future, near future, probably it's good to use word Vajrayana. So then if somebody brings up, oh, what is a mantrayana? They are synonym, not different. Different word mean same thing. Okay? Oh yeah. I'm not sure what kind of message you are getting when you hear the word mantrayana. So if you are confused with the mantra that you're reciting, so then you are not getting the meaning. You are not getting the meaning of the word. Yeah?
This golden rosary of the precious Kadam, whoever tallies its beads becomes meaningful. Regarding
golden rosary here, rosary that's made out of gold, every bead is valuable. That means every word in Kadamba tradition is like golden rosary. Every word is sacred. It's not just a whole sentence is sacred. Now, word by word means no. Kadam, able to see entire Buddha's teaching in one word. Kadam, entire Buddha's teaching able to see in one word. That's meaning of Kadampa, Ka. Buddha's teaching, Dham is combined. We can combine entire Buddha's teaching in one word. That's the meaning of Kadamba. So Kadamba master means all those masters, they can able to say Buddha. So for them, entire teachings there. Like that's called Kadamba. Okay, Kadam. Okay, that's like Kadamba teaching. Kadam le seji tiwa. Kadam le Kadamba teaching is like golden rosaries. Even somebody get one bit, it will help them to alleviate from the poverty because it's gold, matter of gold. Doesn't have to, you don't have to get whole rosary. If you just get one bit, it's valuable, very valuable. So this golden rosary is the exemplify Kadamba teachings. Okay. Whoever hear, sees, thinks, read, meditate, receive benefit. Likewise, if you just go to one piece of mala from the golden rosary, you get a lot of benefit. Same like that. Okay.
Regarding the supreme means of leading migrating beings along the path of liberation and omniscience.
Here, the migrating being here, so for the sake of knowledge, so like you probably know this word very well. Migrate means, like bird migrate, animal migrate from different place to another. Migrate means going somewhere. They are on the way. They are on the move. So why is it called sentient beings? There's another term for sentient beings or living being, breathing living being, sentient beings. Migrator being. There's another term. Means same thing as sentient being. There's no difference. It's the same synonym. Migrator being. Where we migrate, we have three realms: desire realm, form realm, formless realm. Tip of the samsara is formless realm. Sitse, tip of the samsara is called, last one is called sitse. As I mentioned, desire realm, within the desire realm, the form realm, there's four different levels. First, second, third, fourth. Then above that, there's a formless realm. Then there's 4 levels. The last one, there's the tip of samsara. From there to all the way to the desire realms. We migrate. We are born in desire realm. Then sometimes we born in form realm. Sometimes we born as a formless realm. And then we go round. We migrate from formless realm to form realm to the desire realm. Within the desire realm, then we migrate. Sometimes we born in like 6 different types of celestial realm within the desire realm. Sometimes we born there, and there's 6 different levels of celestial realm within the desire realms. So then we born there. Then we born in the human. So then you got again. Like that's the meaning of migrate. Where we migrate. We migrated from the tip of the samsara all the way to the desire realm. That's why we are called migrator being. In Tibetan word, it's called dowa. Tibetan word is called dowa. Sentient beings called semchen, someone who possesses mind. Semchen, dowa, different term, same meaning.
Regarding the supreme means of leading migrating beings along the path of liberation and omniscience, it is the 3 precious baskets. The meaning of all 3 of those.
Here again, the 3 precious basket. Basket. I'm not sure what kind of like message you're getting. Actually, like 3 set of teachings. Teachings as teachings. The main subject of their teaching is ethics or morality. That's called Vinayaka Sutra. Then the main subject will be wisdom. That's another set. But then main subject will be samadhi or concentrations. So these are 3 things are called 3 set of teachings. Basket, it's not like basket you bring to shopping mall to put the fruit. So if you are getting like that kind of image, then there's again here is not getting the 3 set of teachings based on 3 subjects: morality, wisdom, concentrations. The certain within the 84,000 scripture taught by Buddha, and some of them talks about ethics, morality. There's one set. Some of them talks about wisdom, one set. Some of them are talks about concentrations. So these are called 3 training or 3 practice, 3 practice. Then 3 higher practice. That means these 3 practices come supported by bodhicitta. So then it becomes supreme. 3 practices. 3 practice: morality, practice of morality, practice of concentration, practice of wisdom. So Abhidharma Kosha is false. Abhidharma Kosha's main subject is wisdom. Vinayaka Sutra, the main subject will be ethics. That's why there you see all this 8 type of Pratimoksha vows been intensively explained, how the monks and nuns should live in all of that, so monastic life. These are all about related to ethics. That's called Vinayaka Sutra. So then I think like ornament of clear realizations, main subject will be samadhi. Something like that. Okay, so then based on that understanding, so then you decide which term is better to use, 3 set of teaching or 3 baskets. So then you decide. So even though you decide to use word term 3 basket, then you need to explain. So make sure that people then they don't just get the idea of basket that's made out of bamboo. Oh.
The meaning of all 3 of those is contained in the 3 scopes of beings. Furthermore, because it is a teaching that condenses all the stages of the path, this teaching is not like other teachings, such as secret mantra and so forth. It will bring nothing but benefit to all who practice it, and it is not possible that they will ever sustain a loss. These stages of the path to enlightenment are a dharma that will benefit anyone with a supreme, mediocre, or inferior mind. Adjust
mediocre, inferior, there's a medium scope, small scope, the same thing. And then
adjust your motivation by thinking, if I sincerely apply myself to this my human life of leisure and endowment that I have obtained, my life will become meaningful. Therefore, from this day forth, I shall put it into practice.
Very good. That's very clear.
Yesterday, we already covered the first 2 benefits. The third heading is how to listen to and explain the Dharma endowed with those 2 greatnesses has 3 sections. 1, how to listen to the Dharma. 2, how to teach the Dharma. And 3, how to conduct their common ending. This outline on how to listen to and teach the Dharma constitutes the instructions for how to effectively listen to the Dharma. How to listen to the Dharma has 3 sections. Contemplating the benefits of listening to the Dharma, developing reverence for the Dharma and the Dharma teacher, and 3, the actual way to listen to the Dharma. Contemplating the benefits of listening to the Dharma. If you contemplate the benefits of listening to and studying the Dharma, you will develop a desire to listen. These days, we think it is sufficient to meditate on the Dharma and not necessary to study, unless we have very good mental imprints from our previous lives and awaken those slight imprints. It is utterly impossible to generate qualified realizations. Sapan stated, although you apply yourself merely to meditation, without study, it is the means of accomplishing the animal state.
Huh?
Without study, it is the means of accomplishing the animal state.
Yeah,
Therefore,
there's nothing to there's nothing to contemplate because there's no knowledge to contemplate. So then sometimes I jokingly call chicken meditations. You just sit. There's nothing really to think. So there's risk. There's risk, like as I said, bird sit on one leg long period of time. It looks like kind of yeah, they can sit long time. No, the sitting still doesn't mean meditation. So sitting still means that you are contemplating or something. I'm not sure, like. So it's mainly like how is it? So much time been spent on ignorance, probably. So then there's a risk. There's a risk. It doesn't say guarantee, but it's a risk. So that animal realm, the animal realm, the biggest problem is not able to learn much. Not able to learn much. Like even just one word, teach one word to them takes probably long time. You as a human, if you put some effort, you could learn. Teaching Om Mani Padme Hum, not the whole mantra, it's just Om. Probably take long time. Even though within the animal, there are some of them are very smart, could learn word Om, such as parrot. You can teach them how to say Om. They take long time, just word. Then how's the meaning? Almost impossible. So therefore, sitting like this, then thinking really nothing, so there's a risk. It may lead into that kind of realms that because there's nothing is happening here. It's just like you see the squirrel on the branch, sitting like this long time. I don't know what they're thinking. Maybe they are not thinking very deep. Maybe they are thinking, or maybe they are spacing out. I'm not sure. There's risk. Okay, there's no guarantee. Yeah, Venerable Hamala, please continue.
therefore, to practice Dharma, you must understand how to practice, which you must study.
Because we follow Lama Tsongkhapa's footsteps. Lama Tsongkhapa spent so much, early his life, he studied so much. So therefore, Lama Tsongkhapa has ability to explain even the most difficult point when it comes down, especially inside Lama Tsongkhapa. The unique quality of Lama Tsongkhapa is when it comes down to a critical point, there's clear explanations. It's not, or sometimes the easy part you write so much, when it comes to the critical point and you write this much because first of all you don't understand. There's nothing much to write. Lama Tsongkhapa unique qualities when it comes down to a critical point, Lama Tsongkhapa write crystal clear, right? Whether it's like Vajrayana practice, Sutrayana practice, Lama Tsongkhapa writing is crystal clear, even when it comes down to a critical point. That's the unique quality that we have to remember when we do Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga practice. The unique quality of Lama Tsongkhapa that we have to remember is like that, Lama Tsongkhapa is like, especially when it's coming down on a critical point, difficult point. So Lama Tsongkhapa give you detailed explanations. You to understand what it means, okay?
Hence, it is extremely important that you initially engage in study. The Arhat Chekyab famously compiled the miscellaneous teaching of the Buddha as the Dharmapada, which is now included in the Kangyur. If you don't study, you won't know how to go for refuge, or even as much as how to make a prostration.
Mm,
You won't even know how to offer a mandala.
mm,
If you do study, although you may read just a single line in a text, you will develop wisdom eyes that can make a proper estimation of it. Without studying, no matter how intelligent you may be, it will be as if those with eyes have arrived at a place of complete darkness.
It also keep our brain sharp, It's also keep our brain sharp because you're working, your brain is working all the time. So that's why learning is important, is keep your brain sharp.
If you have studied, it will be like igniting a bright flame in a dungeon, and you will clearly understand everything.
Mm.
It is extremely important that you do so now, while you are young. If you do, you will be able to practice Dharma when you have reached.
So that doesn't mean that we have to be young. So what it's saying is it's good to start when you're very young. It's good to start. Don't just, run here, run there. It doesn't mean like Chimda Pajin, 80 years old man managed to liberate himself. Even though you are 80 years old, you can still learn. It's not like you cannot learn. So it's like it's good to start in the young age. Doesn't mean you have to be young. It doesn't mean like that. Please don't misunderstand. You can learn. Now you can learn. Yeah. You can learn. Every day you can learn something.
If you do, you will be able to practice Dharma when you have reached a more advanced age. If you don't study, you will be as dumb as a donkey when
Sorry, it's not funny, but it does. Did it?
When he encounters the Dharma, and whenever it comes to worldly matters, you will be as brilliant as Manjushri. When you study, you begin by studying, then contemplating, and then developing wisdom arisen from meditation. Yetson Kappa appeared to Panchen Losang Jegyen in a dream and proclaimed, for the sake of benefit.
That's one of the most important Lamrim Lama. I think wrote so many books. I think the fourth Panchen Lama, I think number 4.
For the sake of benefiting.
Lama Chopa, we do all the gratitude to go to Panchen Lama because the Panchen of the Chujin Janze. Without kind of the Panchen of the Chujin Janze, there will be no Guru Buddha practice we can see now.
For the sake of benefiting yourself and others, do not be satisfied with your learning. Be like the bodhisattvas who obtained the third bhumi, who are not satisfied with their learning.
Third bhumi, there will be 10 bhumis. 10 bhumi. 10 bhumis in Mahayana path. After path of seeing, so then from there 10 bhumi start. First bhumi, second bhumi. Not in the path of accumulation, path of preparations, path of seeing. So then the bhumi started there. So then when you reach 10 bhumi, there's the last stage of sentient beings. So then some point in that in the 10 bhumis, then you will be initiated by divine beings. You will be giving the word initiations. So then not long after that, then you will achieve the combination of unification of clear light and the illusory body, or like state of Vajradhara. So that, like after 10 bhumi, not long after that, okay? If you want for the sake of knowledge, that's within the mind the path. So there's like 15 set of path. If you're familiar, accumulation, preparations, path of seeing, path of meditative, path beyond learning. 5 belongs to hearer. The second 5 belongs to the self-realizer, solitary realizer. Then the last 5 belongs to the Mahayana path. So then Mahayana path of accumulation, preparations, then path of seeing. So then from there, so then 10 bhumi started. 10 bhumi started from there. Okay. As I said, anything that you can learn, it requires some effort. These are not like something like you cannot learn. This is you can learn, slowly you can learn.
Although Drubang Nagsur Dorje-chan was in his 80s, he memorized the concise
There you go.
the concise Perfection of Wisdom Sutra, and before he died, he recited it from memory 100 times. You haven't studied, your view, meditation, and action will be analogous to being unable to distinguish flour, wheat, and baking soda. You will just say, everything is the same, white. In the same way,
You say baking soda?
What?
Did you mention baking soda?
Yes, they said everything looks the same, flour, wheat, and baking soda, because they're all white powdered.
Oh, yeah. So I was kind of wondering, like, how that, I probably just some another word called cure. So I don't think that time there's no baking soda. It's just like probably homemade yeast, homemade yeast. Probably they're translated into baking soda. That time, I don't think the baking soda exists. So they're homemade, sometimes homemade yeast. Okay. Yeah.
In the same way, your entire view and meditation will be greatly flawed. The reason for that was explained by Je Tsongkhapa when he addressed questions to Tibetan scholars and great meditators in the questions of perfectly pure superior intention, at which time no one was able to answer. Later, Losang Churki Gyaltsen offered his services to untie the difficult points of Je Tsongkhapa's intention. Those of you who are young and have sharp minds must complete your studies.
So here, like difficult point, you understand intention is not just thought. You may say a word like, for example, like flower. It doesn't mean flower that we see outside. There's just a word. It may have like very difficult point. So that you see the word flower, and you are maybe your understanding of that word doesn't mean literally flower. That word has deeper meaning or difficult meaning. So that's what it means. It means like something like that. Okay, it means.
Those of you who are young and have sharp minds must complete your studies of the great treatises at the great monastic institutions. If you do that, you will be of great benefit when you return to your homelands.
So when you return to your homeland, first of all, you can teach them, you can explain them, at least you can intellectually, if someone out there have a strong desire to learn, at least you can benefit them intellectually because you study all of them. So then when it's come down to practice, it's like individual like effort, like you can, at least you can teach them, you can teach them. So then at least that guarantee Buddha Dharma will flourish, at least intellectually flourishes, practically. So that very much depend on individual people, how well you put to practice.
For those of you who are old and not so bright, if you alternate study and contemplation on something concise, such as the first Panchen Lama's path to bliss, or the second Panchen Lama's swift path, this will be sufficient to cover the entire journey along the path.
Lamrim teaching.
From prior to entering the path, through entering the path, and up to the ground of Buddhahood. Although Je Tsongkhapa's concise treatise on the stages of the path has few words, think that he's talking about Song of Spiritual Experience.
Hmm?
It is well known to contain the abridged meaning. Therefore, you should use it as a means of at least grasping the main points, and then work your way up to formulating an understanding of the precise meaning of the words.
Hmm?
Do your study.
Lord Lamrim composed by Lama Tsongkhapa, such as foundation of all the good qualities, three principles express the path to enlightenment, song of experience. These are very small Lamrim. It's only has like 9 pages, something like that. So you can, the Lamrim, great Lamrim has like probably more than 700 pages. So don't give up studying Lamrim when you see, oh, there's like 700 pages. You can still study foundation of the good quality, only 2 pages. 2 pages, Lamrim teachings. Oh. Yeah.
Through your study, you have the means of training in the Dharma, of moral discipline, and so forth. Through your study, you have the means of concentration if you forsake the meaningless. Through your study, you have the means of training in the wisdom attaining nirvana. Moreover, through study, you have a way of sequentially developing your wisdom of the Dharma, such as listening, contemplation, and meditation. Anyone who has become knowledgeable through completing his or her former studies, and through these studies has developed the 3 types of faith, as well as the wisdom of listening, contemplation, and meditation, can even be called self-realized. Nevertheless, he should never be content with his studies. Moreover, even though you may be called self-realized, it is appropriate to pay for the opportunity to listen and study, even with the weight of your own flesh. Even learning the alphabet, even as many as 2,000 letters in a single book, you will develop the wisdom of understanding them all.
Yeah. 1 word a day. 1 word a day. It's not talking about 100 words a day. 1 word a day. When 100 days over, you learn 100 words. That's how you know that's how you increase your knowledge. 1 word a day. When 100 days over, say you now learn, you only learn 100 words.
Considering this, we should collect learning as our collection of essential wealth. In particular, we who are ordained should absolutely accumulate it, since faith, study, moral discipline, and so on are the 7 jewels of the Aryas. If we have them, although we may not have anything other than our robes and a cup, the 7 jewels of the Aryas are the supreme riches. They also cannot be stolen by thieves and so on. In our future lives, and even until we attain enlightenment, we shall pursue them.
Oh yeah, alhamdulillah. Now time is over, so we'll do the dedications. Time is over now. Thank you very much, each and every one of you coming here to studying all this wonderful teaching. So as I said, studying is good for your brain. It will keep your brain sharp. Hopefully it will prevent, like Alzheimer's disease, hopefully, because your brain will be sharp. And so it's not, we are going to get this because when we get old. No, that's not true. Some of my teachers, they are 80 years old. Their brain is sharp as a blade. So it's very sharp. So I think it will keep your brain sharp. So it's much better than doing puzzle. So learn down. Okay, each and every one of you, thank you so much coming here. So we'll do the dedications. Okay.
Yewa jinu dudha lama
Sangye true pure name. Kyang
lupa Janchu Sencha Rinpoche, Make Panam Yuki, Kewa Nyampa Mepa Yang, Gone Gondu Pawa Sho, Jampe Power Jika Padang, Kudu Zampo Deyande Jinte, Deda Kungi Jesu, Kewa Dida Tanchi Rabtungo. Tu se shepe gewa tancheki, ngawa gala chotu ngapade, dashe gewe kukyang, sampo chechu rabtu ngawagi. Dagi shine sabe, tendandro una kampidang, kepa jetsu no santa pai, tempe nimpo rintu sel sho. Hello, on my prayer. Danjira we korwe shinkam dir, pendan dewa Gelek zigwan tenzin yatahi, jape site bardu tengu chi. Yonu iye nanga wajotu, hawa tare tempara sofu, ozan gewe Yashin genge lama sowade. Tupsu chanji tenzin kepe nanzudo ze chokshu Yendu japen sho mitse we me taritu re soha. 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 Taritu re soha.
Oh yeah, thank you very much and have a wonderful night. Oh, I see you Sunday. Okay.
Thank you, Geshe.
Thank you,
Oh,
Geshe.
thank you.
Thank you, Geshe. Good night.
Night.
Thank you. Good night.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Lamala.